this has just been a sanctuary for us. And that would destroy it. It would destroy our sanctuary.
Can you show me a little bit of the map that you've got?
There's something like 23 stations that they have depicted. Their application says they are looking for 50 stations. They have not committed to any number, a cap on the number of stations that will be active at any particular time. This is the industrial park that's just to the east. And then this is more of the land as part of that property. Here's the new proposed location, and this is the map that you'll see on the website. These are all the yellow dots are residences. These pink and red dots are shooting stations in the concept plan. There's at least 50 or 60 homes, probably closer to 80 homes within a mile of this location. Unfortunately, because of the way that their concept plan is set up currently, they're shooting in every direction. So no mitigation based on direction of shot, which means everyone in this circle will be affected.
And within 2 miles, aren't there like 400?
Yeah, there's 450 homes within 2 miles of the location.
Right.
My home is now with the new location of 1.5 miles, and I was able to hear it during the sound study from my porch that I just.
And unfortunately, the sound study was not a true representation of what will actually happen. It was 8 shooters.
Every station they adds some decibel amount as those things compound. At the 50 stations they're talking about, that's roughly 4 shots every second, all day, every day. In the summer, speaking to hours, in the summer, it's 105 hours of the week. This place would be open and operating, and it would be to their benefit for it to be completely full and every station in use all the time. In comparison, the roughly 13 other sporting clays facilities in Virginia, none of them operate that many hours. All of them operate roughly 32 to 40 hours a week, no more than 5 days a week, and no more than 8 hours a day. So what they're asking for is well beyond the median for what a business that has proven to work and be able to support itself has shown, because all of those are survivors of the market. So they're asking us to believe that only through dawn to dusk hours, 7 days a week would be viable.
How about kids? How many kids live in the 2 mile radius?
Couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, but I know our neighbors right across the way have 2 very young children.
And down the way have another one.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there are definitely kids around.
Think
They
about
have a baby.
At least, I suppose that makes 4 kids on our street alone. And it's a pretty short street.
Yeah.
I mean, just from normal medical, like any sort of noise is going to be, kids are going to be more affected because they have, inner ear that is less developed and not as protected against loud noises. So permanent damage is much more likely.
One of the things I've heard in response to the noise issue is, which would be worse, a quarry or because it's already known for a quarry, or the range. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. So I think that's a reasonable distinction. I bought this home knowing there was a quarry there.
That's right.
I knew that it was already going to exist, possibly in the future, and that I would have to deal with the noise. In a quarry, blasting happens on a schedule, it's announced to neighbors. They have to be within restricted hours, and eventually it goes down into the earth, which creates its own sort of a noise mitigation automatically, just by being lower and lower as they dig down. So without similar noise mitigations at the top of the hill, which is where they're proposing the new site to be, they're basically projecting all of that noise out to the surrounding area without any mitigation.
It kind of baffles me that they made it this far in the process, honestly. It makes me feel like the local government isn't really looking out for the interests of its constituents.
When I talked to Mr. Christie about the sound study and why, why is it on a Tuesday, he said that because Goochland hasn't had a lot of proposals, or I don't know how many, but for shooting ranges, there aren't any guidelines. So it's actually voluntary. I don't even understand. Then why wouldn't they have guidelines? Why wouldn't they create guidelines as planning and zoning, as board of commissioners, to have certain things done before? So it concerns me for this one and for future proposals that they don't have guidelines. I feel like that's just a no-brainer.
My preference is still for the range to not be built at all, but if it is going to be built, we need to do something to mitigate the issues. They can't just build it and have it open 365 days a year, dawn to dusk, with no conditions.
So what would you have them do?
Find a better location for this. You had mentioned quite a few different ideas earlier.
Yeah, I think if this is going to happen here, we have to have conditions around use. We need to have restricted hours. We need to have restricted shot types. We need to have a cap on how many shooters are shooting at one time. We should have a cap on the number of events. We should have a cap on the number of hours in a day, days in a week. There should be at least 2 consecutive days where we don't have any shooting. And we should start conservatively. I researched 6 other ranges. I was looking for patterns that included there are almost no homes within a half a mile of a gun range. The ones that are there were all built after the gun range was there, so they made their choice. They might have been related to somebody who was running the range, but it's something like a dozen homes that are even within half a mile of a gun range.
This is in Virginia.
This is in the 6 other sites, including Bull Run Shooting Center, Old Forge, Cavalier, all of these public or private ranges, and no one makes that choice. If they have the opportunity, effectively no one makes that choice. If it wasn't a big deal, there would be homes right up to it, especially in high density urban areas where there are ranges. But the reality is that there's less than 15 homes or so out of 6 different ranges that have that exist within half a mile of that range. They're all in that report. I say exactly how many homes are within a quarter mile, a half a mile, and 2 miles. And in the case of Old Forge, and in most of these cases, all of these homes were built after the range. The only ones that aren't are, like you said, the owners of the range themselves or family members that are related to them. And that's not a good enough excuse in my mind, because we're here first, so we should be getting the preference around our living and our ability to enjoy our homes.
The thought of people either from this county or not pushing for this range to be built right there is just feels so disrespectful, and it just reeks of a lack of empathy. I personally couldn't sleep at night if I was pushing for this. The way the world goes, with this, data centers, Valley Link, like you mentioned, it's just a lot, and it feels like there's a lot going against us, but it's also important to have hope in mind and remember that, as a community, we're stronger. The things that we want as long as we voice our concerns and do something about it, there is something to be done, I believe.